All right, y'all, we back for some more conspiracy theories, craziness of the world, and unexplained mysteries. But before we get to that, man, I need y'all to help me unplug some more people out of the Matrix. And you do that by spamming the like button and putting hashtag unplugged in the comment section. All right? And subscribe if you're new. Let's get to this.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
And I too believe that nicotine is not addictive.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're examining 10 corporate conspiracy theories.
Okay, that's it. Attention, Canada!
For this list, we'll be looking at the most intriguing conspiracy theories involving businesses, corporations, and conglomerates. To be clear, the theory does not have to be proven true so long as the theory itself has been put forth. What do you make of these beliefs? Are you in or out? Let us know in the comments below. Tim Hortons' secret coffee ingredient. Tim Hortons, or Timmy's as the locals call it, is arguably the most popular coffee chain in Canada, although it's also branched out to many countries around the world. With well over 5,000 locations, it's obvious that Timmy's is doing something right.
Oh, this coffee is excellent.
And some think that something might be nicotine. According to some, the chain secretly adds the addictive substance to its coffee to ensure that people keep coming through the door.
Thank you very much.
Of course, that's not actually the case, because that would be in violation of some major health regulations. And rest assured, the theory has been officially disproved by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Turns out, they just make a mean cup of joe.
Taste test each cup. Coffee masters give thumbs up. Hands grab fresh brew. Spreading joy is what we do. From bean to cup, that is how we brew it up.
Raising the price of chicken. When it comes to meat, it doesn't get much better than chicken. It's a versatile food, cheap, healthy, and you get a lot of bang for your buck. But maybe we should...
I shouldn't have to say anything because whole stereotype when it comes to chicken. All right.
Paying even less bucks?
Think about this as something that is a punishment to the market for having done some bad behavior.
Back in October of 2021, Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson alleged that 19 different chicken producers were artificially inflating the price of the meat. According to Ferguson, these companies were intentionally manipulating the supply of chicken so as to increase the demand and therefore the market price of the bird.
Washington is the first state to hold chicken production companies accountable for their roles in price fixing.
Ferguson launched a lawsuit against these companies as price fixing is highly illegal.
According to the suit, if you purchase chicken in 24 states, including the Carolinas from 2009 through 2020, you could be eligible to receive a payment from a $181 million class action settlement.
As of April 2023, 14 of the 19 companies have settled with Ferguson, resulting in earnings of $35 million. You can stop Meta from owning your photos. There are countless conspiracy theories regarding Meta platforms, the conglomerate that owns both Facebook and Instagram. For example, many people are convinced that Facebook is eavesdropping on your conversations and giving you targeted ads in response.
Conspiracy theory that gets passed around that we listen to what's going on your microphone and use that for ads.
Right.
We don't do that.
But there's another theory centered around the use of private photos. According to the theory...
I'm sorry. I know he said he doesn't, but I always find it extremely weird. I don't even have to be on the phone or on the particular app. You ever notice that? You don't have to be on a particular app. You could just be discussing something with someone in the room with you, your phone be nearby, and then as soon as you go to log on to an app or something, you automatically start receiving ads for it. Like, it's the weirdest thing. You don't, it's strange to me. I'll never be comfortable with that. I'll never be okay with that. That just always weirds me out.
Meta owns every photo that you upload, and they can do whatever they want with it unless you specify otherwise in a post. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. You agreed to give Meta access to your photos when you signed up. It's explicitly in the terms of service.
This means even if you post a notice claiming that you don't give Facebook permission to use your data or photos, you already told them it was okay.
And that's far more lawfully binding than some random chain message that you repost on your feed.
Nothing is impossible. You just have to kind of keep running through the walls.
Walmart and Jade Helm 15. Back in 2015, Walmart suddenly closed 5 stores across the United States, resulting in more than 2,000 people losing their jobs. According to the company, the buildings had suffered extensive plumbing issues that were too costly and time-consuming to fix.
Walmart officials didn't even mention plumbing issues.
According to others, it was because the employees were unionizing. Regardless, the closure resulted in an even greater conspiracy involving the U.S. military.
I don't have the specifics on what it actually is. I just know that at this store we've had recurring issues.
According to believers, martial law would be enacted, and these closed stores would be used as military facilities, or even worse, FEMA concentration camps for captured American citizens. Of course, nothing of the sort ever occurred. Nope, these were just closed Walmarts. It happens. Apple enacts planned obsolescence.
The company's saying, we know that some of you feel Apple has let you down. We apologize.
In the economic industry, planned obsolescence refers to a device that is purposely rendered obsolete by its maker. For example, many believe that Apple designs their iPhones to die after a certain number of years so that users will be forced to buy the newest, latest, and greatest.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm aboard that bandwagon, bro. It just always conveniently starts to acting up when you start announcing new ones coming. Hey, you say what you want to say about it, bro, but I'm aboard that bandwagon.
The idea with planned obsolescence is that there is intent. There is a smoke-filled room with evil people that are saying, "Wahaha, we're going to make these things die in 18 months." I'm not sure it works that way. Instead, the way that this works is that the marketing people are saying to the product designers, don't put any effort into making this thing last longer than the lifespan of the original battery.
In 2017, a supposed Harvard study even made the rounds that seemingly proved this idea. But this isn't true. It's true that older iPhones get slower once new iOS upgrades are released, but that's because the aged batteries cannot handle its demands.
And the parts are recycled. That's another thing I don't think is said enough.
The battery can surge, and that causes the phone to shut down, a problem that many of us have had.
So yes, old phones do slow down, and yes, you will have to buy a new one. But that's simply the nature of technology, and not the result of some grand planned obsolescence conspiracy.
Yeah, okay.
Apple acknowledged the problem and said iOS 10.2.1 would reduce the amount of unexpected shutdowns.
New Coke was bad on purpose. There are corporate disasters, and then there's New Coke. Making its big rollout in April 1985, New Coke was a reformulated version of the classic beverage. Coca-Cola had seen diminishing sales, and New Coke was the company's attempt at revitalizing the brand.
It's a hit. It's a Coke. Coke is it.
Well, it didn't work. The product was widely hated, and the experiment was considered an enormous disaster.
What they hadn't factored in was the huge emotional attachment there was to this brand.
Classic Coke was then reintroduced just 3 months later to great success.
People don't like change, man. People love for things to stay the same. You get attached to it, you know? And a lot of people are routine based, right? So you changing something kind of alters their routine. Yeah, people don't like change.
However, this raised some eyebrows. Skeptics believe that old Coke had pulled a fast one and intentionally made New Coke bad, thereby spiking demand and sales for Classic Coke. It's a decent conspiracy theory, but it has no basis in reality. As company president Donald Kioff put it, quote, "We're not that smart."
It'll shake up the world. It's the way it should be. It's just how you feel when you know it's for real.
McDonald's and the IRA. This conspiracy theory has enormous implications and could do some extreme damage to the reputation of McDonald's. Thankfully, not a lick of it is true, so you can enjoy your Big Macs guilt-free.
Derek, what about your diet?
I have weaknesses. I'm trying to fight them. Sometimes they get the best of me.
The theory stretches back to the 80s, when McDonald's was accused of providing money to a group called the Provisional Irish Republican Army. Known widely as the IRA, this was a terrorist organization that fought for Northern Irish independence.
The truth is that very few of the Irish nation supported this quixotic revolt. The vast majority of the Irish people thought of these revolutionaries as a scandalous joke.
In a turn of events, the theory was traced back to CNN, which was discussing the company's use of IRAs, or individual retirement accounts. Someone had mixed up pension planning for terrorism, and a bizarre conspiracy theory was born. Purdue Pharma commits fraud. A private pharmaceutical company, Purdue Pharma has a sketchy history.
I'm profoundly sorry. I am deeply and profoundly sorry.
It once paid an enormous fine for lying about the addictive properties of OxyContin, and then in 2020 it was found guilty of numerous conspiracy theories. Basically, Purdue was giving kickbacks to distributors so they would sell more of their product, and then lied about doing so to the Drug Enforcement Administration. Even worse, they intentionally sold their product knowing that it was going to abusers, thereby fueling the ongoing opioid epidemic to get rich.
Since 1998, doctors have observed patients developing addiction. Yet in this internal memo, the laboratory keeps on encouraging its representatives to sell at all costs their miracle pill, using bonuses, premiums, and all sorts of gadgets.
As U.S. Attorney Christina Nolan succinctly put it, quote, Purdue put opioid profits ahead of people. It sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's 100% true. It cost Purdue billions of dollars, and the resulting controversy forced the company to rebrand.
The company's agreed to an $8 billion settlement. However, it's likely only to pay a fraction of that amidst bankruptcy proceedings.
Operation Berkshire. The title Operation conveys a powerful exercise that is meticulously planned and flawlessly executed. And Operation Berkshire was all about smoking. Specifically, the tobacco industry's efforts to keep people smoking. It was started by Imperial Tobacco Chairman Tony Garrett in 1976, who gathered the CEOs of 7 major companies. According to a document written by the Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation, Operation Berkshire, quote, monitored anti-tobacco organizations and rebutted data and allegations from anti-smoking forces. Basically, they created a unified front and battled the increasing public scrutiny on smoking cigarettes. They even lied to Congress by claiming that nicotine was not addictive.
I believe nicotine is not addictive, yes.
Mr. Johnston.
Congressman, cigarettes and nicotine clearly do not meet the classic definitions of addiction.
Operation Berkshire
He said clearly do not meet. He really sold that. Are you kidding me? Everything about nicotine was addictive back then. Even seeing people do this motion or seeing them do it all the time, even though it was socially accepted. Seeing them do that, even as a kid, I don't know if y'all remember, but I remember the little cigarette box candy. I used to want that so bad because I wasn't old enough to do what the adults were doing. That was my way of doing that. I care less about the candy part of it. I just wanted to walk around like the adults. You wanted to emulate what you saw. You wanted to be like them. Man, that thing was addictive in every way.
Wasn't publicly unveiled until 1998, meaning that it was conducted in secret for over 20 years.
Wow.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into settings and switch on your notifications. The Deepwater Horizon accident. On April 20th, 2010, BP's drilling rig Deepwater Horizon suffered a massive explosion that killed 11 people and sent over 200 million gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico.
BP's success in the Gulf bolstered its reputation as a pioneer and pushed its value to nearly £100 billion.
According to BP, the explosion was the result of ignited methane, which had combined with seawater and drilling mud during a blowout.
What the oil companies use Deepwater Horizon for is to drill the wells. They come out, they drill in really challenging environments. They find the oil. Sometimes they set up the production well. Then they go to the next job.
Some, including conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh, were convinced that something more foul was afoot. Some claim that the oil rig was hit by a foreign missile in a violent declaration of aggression or war. Others posit that the explosion was rigged by environmentalists hoping to prove the folly and hubris of oil drilling. The truth is far simpler, but no less catastrophic.
The legacy of Deepwater Horizon will be to show how important science is in making decisions that help society meet these challenges and keep this region vital and safe and resilient for generations to come.
Hollywood, they're on strike to demand, in part, better compensation from the studios and the streaming giants. The struggle for fair pay being highlighted by the stars of one of the first hit shows from the streaming era.
Oh my God, I'm about to be so rich. And you
Yo.
That was Kimiko Glenn, who played Brooke Soso on Netflix's Orange is the New Black. She earned just $27 on that residual check. You saw it there.
No way.
Her frustration being echoed by many of her co-stars. Leah DeLaria telling The New Yorker, I get $20. I would love to know, how much money did Ted Sarandos make last year? Well, here's the answer. Sarandos, who's the CEO of Netflix, according to the company's financial statements last year, he received $20 million in base salary, more than $50 million if you include the stock and the options and bonuses. Emma Miles, another Orange is the New Black alum, told The New Yorker, when you're a kid, you have this idea. Once I'm on something that people actually see, I'll be rich. And you'll look around after being on that hit show and you're like, wow, I'm still in the same one-bedroom apartment. Was this how it's supposed to be? Now, Emma Miles and Leah DeLaria join me now. Emma, can you explain to the audience, first of all, what are residual checks?
Yeah. My mind is just still blown away. $27. I know you may not make as much as the leading, you know what I mean, the lead role or supporting roles that you see very often if you don't have much. But $27, bro. I don't even know what to say to that.
Right? What are they supposed to be? And what does that financially look like for you once you've been on a show like Orange is the New Black?
Okay, well, in terms of how our business works, residuals typically are paid out for network, cable, movies, and they're basically a share of the profits that come from the revenue from being on a network. So there's a lot of advertisement, there's a lot of money that comes with that. So the residuals for network they're a lot higher, like much higher. And we have certain bases in our contract that say that they have to be at a certain percentage. They have to be calculated that way. Now, in terms of...
Sound like to me somebody cooking the books. Somebody's cooking some books.
Of residuals for Orange, we were not based off of network and cable. We were based off of this new thing called streaming, which basically didn't exist when we started the show. So the contract that we had reflected like webisodes and web series and things that were on YouTube and promotional videos. And the way that those residuals are calculated, we are actually not sure because for the millions upon millions of dollars in revenue that these companies, these streaming companies particularly, are raking in, there's not really much of a kickback for any of the people involved on the creative side. So
now I've heard artists speak about this, like music artists speaking like they didn't understand streaming, how much you make, a penny less, not even worth a penny. It's crazy. People have been screaming out for someone to explain how this is all work. I didn't know this spilled over into acting and actors and actresses and whole Hollywood scene and movies and stuff. I didn't know, which I should have thought that they go hand in hand and coincide. So this is insane to sign up for one thing and think this is where this is like going to work a job, like a job either in a factory or anything, and you sign a contract saying I'm gonna make this. And then when your check comes, it's something totally different because things changed and evolved and you were never really, whoa, yeah.
For something
heated,
like an episode of Law and Order SVU that you would have gotten like a good like several $1,000s from it re-airing on television, you get about, I don't know, $20 for people to be able to watch Orange, all 5 seasons of Orange in perpetuity. And that's a pretty big discrepancy.
Yeah. I mean, the number of people watching on streaming services is sort of like a black box. The streamers don't necessarily want transparency about that. But Leah, you said that there was this accidental moment of clarity from Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos, because he compared Orange is the New Black, which was a groundbreaking show in so many ways, to the other hit show, Game of Thrones. What did that tell you?
Well, we were all at a party when Ted said that we were bigger than Game of Thrones, and we were all. It was we were a very tight knit cast. We hung out a lot, and we were all kind of hanging out together. And he made that statement, and it was a complete aha moment for everyone at that party. We all just looked at each other, and of course, give me the money. Where's the money? I'm still living in my Bushwick apartment. Where's the money?
I mean, it's a really good question. Look, the
short, sweet, to the point. Show me the money.
They really did become famous, and as you noted in your comments to the New Yorker, when you're famous and people are stopping you on the street and you go home and you pick up that check and it says $20, what does that feel like?
I mean, it feels like crap.
Well, yeah. Yesterday, I'm in a building here, and I'm walking into the elevator to go do my laundry. So, my hair's in curlers, and I'm wearing a bathrobe, and you know what I mean. And there's a couple of guys in the elevator that are fixing the elevator, and they immediately, and not in a first language, right? They immediately start screaming. They scream like teenage girls to elevator repairmen because they wanted to get a picture with me. They wanted to get a picture with me. So, and I'm always gracious to my fans. So is Emma. Without our fans, we'd be nothing. But it's kind of rough when my last residual check came in June. It was for $20.27. And every time I have to stop and get my picture taken, that's 20 times a day. It seems like first world problems, but that's how famous we are, and we're making $20.27.
Go ahead, Emma.
Well, there's also like an attitude that comes, this idea that we in terms of the fans that can be really aggressive, because Lee is right, the fans are amazing for the most part, but there are those fans that are very aggressive, and they can be like, well, I pay your salary, like I watch your show, so I'm entitled to whatever time I want to take from you, or a picture. And I'm just like, if you're responsible for my salary, we have some talking to do.
So Emma, I want to start with you.
Hey, listen, I don't blame her for now you can understand where a lot of that pushback from celebrities, man, you catch them on bad times. And that's not an excuse for all of them. Some of them just naturally born just ignorant, just angry for no reason, and just people you don't never want to get to know. But for some people, their stuff is coming from things they're dealing with Hollywood, bro, and streaming. Insane.
On this one, how do you see this strike ending? Both sides are really dug in. The streamers are saying, and the studios are saying, we can't afford to pay more. How does this end, Emma?
I mean, they can afford to pay more. That's complete. They're saying two different things. They're telling all of the actors and all of the writers and all of the creatives that they don't have the money, and meanwhile, they're telling all of their shareholders that they're making more money than they ever have been. So both things can't be true at the same time. How do I see this ending? I mean, I want it to end well. I think that we're not going to stop fighting until we get certain protections in place so that what happened to us on Orange can't happen to any other cast ever again. I mean, we should be fairly compensated. They are making billions of dollars off of work that is being kind of shoved out into the universe, and no one can support their livelihoods. I don't have health insurance.
And of course, there are the issues related to artificial intelligence. These are deep, difficult problems, but I'm just glad that both of you are so famous that people stop you on the street still and demand photographs. Emma Miles and Leah Delari.
I'd rather have insurance.
Thank you both very much.
I'd rather have insurance.
I'd rather have a bathtub.
Fair enough. Thank you both very much.